Crimson Horizon 2, Ashes of Control. Part 2, Section 2, Final Chapter. The fire between them. The sky over Cracovia burned with a deep winter red. Snow fell like ash. Aria Vale crouched on the rooftop of a half-abandoned communications tower, staring at the Helix Directive facility across the frozen river. Floodlights carved harsh white scars through the darkness. Patrol drones circled like mechanical vultures. Somewhere inside that building, Luca Serrano was alive. For now. Her breath moved slow and steady in the cold air. Her body had gone perfectly still, the stillness of a predator waiting for the right moment. Behind her, Matteo adjusted the compact rifle strapped across his chest. "Satellite sweep confirms internal movement," he said quietly. "They're preparing something." Aria didn't turn. "They already started." Matteo studied her. "You're certain?" "They didn't take Luca for interrogation," she replied. "They took him for replication." Helix didn't want information. They wanted what Luca represented. The unplanned variable in Aria's life. The one thing that had broken her programming. Choice. Love. Matteo exhaled slowly, frost curling from his breath. "You know if they succeed, they won't stop at one pair." "I know. They would build armies. Soldiers who moved like one mind. Operatives bound by neural links designed to mimic real emotion but controlled through code. Helix would manufacture loyalty. Manufacture devotion. Manufacture love." Aria's jaw tightened. That was the one thing she would never allow. Inside the cage, the laboratory lights hummed above Luca's head. White. Cold. Unforgiving. He sat restrained in a metal chair at the center of the room while wires ran from the neural interface along his temples. Across from him stood Elena, the female operative from the bonded pair. Her eyes were tired. Haunted. But clearer than before. Helix technicians moved around them, adjusting instruments and studying biometric readings. "Synchronization window approaching," one scientist announced. Another tapped commands into a console. "We're detecting resistance patterns." "Expect it," the lead researcher replied calmly. "Subject Serrano demonstrates strong emotional anchoring." Luca couldn't help it. He laughed. The sound echoed harshly through the sterile chamber. "Is something amusing?" the scientist asked. "You people really think you can recreate love with machines?" The woman didn't react. "We can replicate the neurological responses associated with attachment." "That's not love," Luca said. "It's close enough." Elena shifted uncomfortably. The male operative beside her, the one who had been bonded to her before, stood rigidly silent. The implant along his temple flickered faintly. Luca looked directly at Elena. "You don't have to let them do this." Her voice was barely above a whisper. "If I resist, they punish him." She glanced at her former partner. Luca followed her gaze. The man's expression was distant. Controlled. But beneath the surface something flickered. Memory. Pain. Helix had broken their bond once already. Now they were trying to force a new one. Luca leaned forward slightly despite the restraints. "What was his name?" Elena froze. "Before they turned him into a weapon." The machines around them hummed louder as the synchronization program prepared to activate. Elena's eyes filled with tears. "They erased it." "That doesn't mean it's gone." The scientist's voice cut through the moment. "Begin neural alignment." The break-in. 3 floors above the laboratory, a ventilation panel slid silently aside. Aria dropped into the dark hallway below like a shadow. The facility smelled like antiseptic and metal. Her pulse was steady. Controlled. Every movement calculated. She disabled the first security camera before it could rotate toward her. 2 guards approached from the corner. They didn't see her until it was too late. Aria moved fast. 1 strike. 2. Silent. She dragged the bodies behind a supply crate and continued deeper into the facility. Her comm crackled. Matteo's voice whispered through static. Security grid is scrambling. Whatever you're doing, do it quickly. I'm close. She passed through another corridor and paused beside a reinforced door. Behind it, she heard voices. Luca's voice. Her heart stuttered once. Then she forced herself to breathe. Focus. She planted a shaped charge against the lock. Stand by, she murmured. The experiment begins. In the laboratory below, the neural machines activated. A pulse of energy surged through the cables connected to Luca and Elena. Both of them flinched. The screens around them filled with complex brainwave patterns. Synchronization beginning, the technician reported. Luca's head throbbed. A pressure built behind his eyes. Fragments of sensation flashed through his mind. Fear. Loneliness. Helix was forcing their neural signals to connect. Elena gasped. The link was starting to form. Images flickered between them. Memories. Not her memories. His. Aria laughing beside the ocean. Aria leaning over the hood of an engine in the garage. Aria standing in the rain after the Virex siege. The scientists leaned closer to the monitors. Incredible. Emotional imprint is extremely strong. Amplify signal. Elena's breathing quickened. She could feel it. Luca's memories. His feelings. And the center of all of them was Aria. The woman he loved. The system strained under the emotional overload. Stabilize the link, a technician shouted. Then the door exploded inward. The storm arrives. Glass shattered across the laboratory. Smoke flooded the room. Aria stepped through it. For one heartbeat no one moved. Then chaos erupted. 2 Helix guards raised their rifles. Aria was already moving. The first dropped before he could fire. The second slammed into a console hard enough to break it. Alarms screamed through the building. Luca stared at her through the smoke. Relief flooded his chest. You always make an entrance. Aria crossed the room in 3 strides and tore the neural cables from his restraints. Miss me? He grinned despite the chaos. A little. She kissed him, fast, fierce, desperate. Then she shoved a pistol into his hands. Let's get out of here. A choice. Elena stumbled as the neural connection collapsed. Her former partner caught her before she fell. For the first time, his eyes looked alive. Free. Aria glanced between them. You can come with us. The man hesitated. They'll hunt us. They already do, Luca said. Gunfire echoed down the hallway. Helix soldiers were coming. Elena took the man's hand. Let's go. They ran. The escape. The group burst into the corridor just as Matteo's distraction triggered another explosion in the eastern wing. The entire facility shook. Aria led the way through the maze of hallways, moving with instinctive precision. 2 soldiers appeared ahead. Luca fired first. The recoil surprised him, but both targets dropped. Aria glanced at him approvingly. Garage mechanic, huh? He shrugged. You learn things when your girlfriend fights corporate armies. They reached the central control room. Rows of servers hummed quietly. Aria stopped. What are you doing? Matteo asked through the comm. Ending Helix. She connected a drive to the main terminal and uploaded every file. Every experiment. Every name. Every crime. Within seconds, the data began transmitting across global networks. Helix Directive was finished. But Aria wasn't done yet. She armed the reactor overload. Matteo swore over the radio. You're blowing the whole mountain? Yes. Good. The last stand. Helix soldiers blocked the final exit. At least 20 of them. Aria stepped forward. Elena and her partner moved beside her. Not synchronized, but united. The fight was brutal. Snow blasted through the shattered entrance as gunfire lit the night. Matteo arrived from the opposite side, firing as he ran. Move! He shouted. The mountain trembled violently. The reactor was reaching critical overload. They sprinted through the blizzard as the facility began collapsing behind them. Then the explosion came. A thunderous roar. Fire erupted from the mountain peak as Helix Directive vanished beneath a storm of collapsing steel and stone. After the fire, weeks later, the world knew about Helix. Governments dismantled the remnants. Surviving operatives were freed. Elena and her partner disappeared into witness protection. Matteo continued hunting the fragments of Helix that tried to regroup. And Aria Vale finally stopped running. The road ahead. A long coastal highway stretched beneath a bright blue sky. Luca drove slowly, one hand resting on the steering wheel of the old Mustang he had rebuilt. Aria sat beside him with her boots against the dashboard. The ocean rolled endlessly beside them. Quiet. Peaceful. Luca glanced over. "You're thinking again." She smiled slightly. "Just a little." "About what?" She watched the horizon. For the first time in years, it wasn't burning red. It was calm. Open. "About the future," she said. He reached over and took her hand. "Whatever happens, we face it together," she finished. And for once, that felt like enough.
If this story captivates you and you reach this far and have not smashed that subscribe button, do so. Like and share your feedback in the comments section below. Share channel with friends and family. And don't forget to press that notification bell to get notified on new videos. See you next time on Midnight Mirage Stories.